Why would a couple who just tied the knot in a $3 million wedding feel the need to say, I do, all over again, only 3 years later? That's the question swirling around Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz. On the surface, their vow renewal looked like a picture-perfect celebration of love. But behind the carefully curated photos and glowing headlines, whispers of family tension and silent feuds are growing louder. With Nicola and Brooklyn noticeably skipping one of the biggest Beckham family events of the year, and no word from David or Victoria, fans are starting to wonder, was this romantic gesture just about love, or was a quiet stand against something deeper? Their story began like something straight out of a Hollywood script. Brooklyn Beckham, model, photographer, and the eldest son of one of the most iconic power couples in the world, met Nicola Peltz, the stunning heiress and actress best known for a role in Bates Motel, in October 2019. From the very beginning, the chemistry was undeniable. Just a few months later, in January 2020, the two made their relationship Instagram official, sealing it with matching posts that left fans swooning and tabloids buzzing. But this wasn't going to be a slow-burn romance. Only 7 months after that first public announcement, Brooklyn got down on one knee and popped the question. And just like that, the whirlwind turned into something permanent. They weren't just dating anymore. They were planning a life together. The world watched in fascination as two very different worlds. The British Beckham Empire and the American billionaire Peltz dynasty prepared to merge. But the pace of their love story left some people wondering. Was it passion, pressure, or a mix of both? And what followed would make even more headlines. On April 9th, 2022, Brooklyn and Nicola said their official I do in a wedding that looked like it was lifted straight from a luxury magazine spread. But this wasn't just any ceremony. It was a full-scale, black-tie, multi-million-dollar event hosted at Nicola's family estate in the ultra-exclusive Palm Beach, Florida. With a price tag estimated at over $3 million, the wedding instantly became one of the most talked-about celebrity events of the year. Guests included A-list friends, elite socialites, and, of course, both famous families. David and Victoria Beckham were front and center, dressed perfection, alongside Brooklyn's siblings, Romeo, Cruz, and Harper. On Nicola's side, billionaire businessman Nelson Peltz and model Claudia Peltz welcomed the crowd with effortless grace. Nicola's 7 siblings were all present too, making it a true family affair. From the breathtaking oceanfront views to the custom Valentino gown Nicola wore, every detail was meticulously curated for perfection. The event was a celebration of not just a relationship, but a merging of legacies. It was elegant, emotional, and extravagant, and it left the world watching with wide eyes. But for all its glamour, not everyone noticed what might have been happening behind the scenes. Because even as the couple glowed under the spotlight, there were early signs that not everything was picture-perfect behind closed doors. Behind the designer suits and front-row appearances, Brooklyn Beckham has always shown a softer, more sentimental side, especially when it comes to Nicola. He's not just a son of global icons or a rising figure in fashion and food. He's a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. And nowhere was that more obvious than on their 3rd wedding anniversary. To celebrate the milestone, Brooklyn didn't just post a photo or share a few words. He sent Nicola a massive bouquet of soft pink roses, accompanied by a handwritten love letter that was so heartfelt, it made waves across social media. In the note, he called her his soul and his rock, writing, I continue to fall more in love with you every second. You make me a better man, and I couldn't ask for a better partner. Nicola didn't keep it private either. She reposted the message on her Instagram stories and added her own tender note. I love love letters so much. These moments painted a picture of a couple deeply in love, cherishing the quiet, emotional rituals that happen away from the flashing cameras. To the outside world, it was proof that their connection was genuine, still burning brightly despite the spotlight. But sometimes, even the most romantic gestures can't completely silence the whispers of tension growing elsewhere. And soon, those whispers would get louder. For a while, everything seemed perfect, almost too perfect. But then came the silence. A silence that began raising eyebrows, especially when Brooklyn and Nicola were noticeably absent from David Beckham's extravagant 50th birthday celebration in London. The event was lavish, high-profile, and packed with close friends and family. Yet Brooklyn, the eldest Beckham son, was nowhere to be seen, and neither was Nicola. That absence didn't go unnoticed. Whispers of family strain began surfacing almost immediately. Tabloids speculated, fans questioned, and People magazine confirmed what many were starting to suspect. A source close to the family revealed there were growing tensions between Brooklyn and Nicola and the family. No specifics were given, no dramatic statements or online feuds, but a lack of public support from either side spoke volumes. It wasn't the first time rumors of conflict had swirled, from supposed disagreements over wedding planning to subtle shifts in how often Brooklyn appeared with his famous parents. People began to piece together a story of quiet distance. And despite repeated requests, representatives for David and Victoria Beckham declined to comment, only adding fuel to fire. It's the kind of silence that screams. And in a family where public image means everything, that silence was deafening. But how do you respond when the world starts picking apart your personal life? For Brooklyn and Nicola, the answer would come in a very unexpected and very symbolic way. On August 2nd, Brooklyn and Nicola did something most couples don't even consider just 3 years into marriage. They renewed their vows. And while on the surface, it seemed like a romantic gesture to celebrate their love, some couldn't help but wonder, was there something more to it? According to a source close to the couple, the event was about honoring the love and commitment they built together, creating a memory that would last forever. But the timing raised eyebrows. Just months after skipping Brooklyn's father's 50th birthday bash, and amid rumors of growing tension between Nicola and the Beckham family, the vow renewal felt like more than just a celebration. It felt deliberate. This wasn't a flashy, media-covered extravaganza like their original wedding. It was intimate, private, carefully curated, almost like a reset button, or maybe a message that their bond comes first, that whatever may be happening outside their relationship, inside, they're still all in. To fans, it looked like love. To skeptics, it looked like defiance. And to those paying close attention, it looked like both. But if this really was a statement, it wasn't the only one being made. If there's one thing the Beckham family has mastered, it's controlling the public narrative. David and Victoria are no strangers to fame or controversy. But in this case, their silence has been louder than any headline. When reports first surfaced about tension between Nicola and the family, fans waited for the Beckhams to speak out, clarify, or deny. But nothing came. No statement. No birthday shout-outs. Not even a casual like on social media. And that silence only got more noticeable with time. When Brooklyn and Nicola renewed their vows, it was a moment made for Instagram. But noticeably absent from the comments and reactions, David and Victoria. For a family that has always publicly supported each other's big moments, the lack of interaction felt cold, intentional, even, and while it's entirely possible the Beckhams chose to keep things private, the digital distance was impossible to ignore. Some fans argued it was just a case of grown children carving their own path. Others saw it as quiet confirmation that something had shifted. The kind of shift that doesn't come with dramatic blowouts or press releases, just a steady fading from view, one that leaves room for interpretation, speculation, and endless theories. And Nicola, she had her own subtle way of responding. Nicola Peltz doesn't do public rants. She doesn't clap back at headlines or spill tea in interviews. But for those who follow her closely, her social media says a lot, without saying much at all. Take the vow renewal, for example. She didn't post a carousel of posed pictures or behind-the-scenes videos. Instead, she quietly shared Brooklyn's handwritten anniversary note, the one where he called her his soul, his rock, and the love of his life. Alongside it, she wrote just 7 words, "I love love letters so much." Simple, emotional, personal, but to fans, it felt like a carefully chosen message, not just about romance, but about reassurance. A quiet way of showing the world that their bond is still strong, still intimate, still theirs. It wasn't the first time Nicola used subtlety as her voice. Over the past year, she's often posted moments that seem full of meaning. Vintage-style photos, moody captions, heartfelt videos of Brooklyn cooking or cuddling their dogs. No drama, just feelings, warmth, presence, and through it all, a steady reminder that this their life together, is her focus. Still, some followers couldn't help but wonder, were these posts meant for Brooklyn? Or for the people watching from the outside, reading between the lines? Maybe both, because in the world of celebrity families, what's not said can be just as powerful as what is. And that brings us to one big question. Where does this all go next? With a vow renewal behind them and the spotlight burning brighter than ever, one question hangs in the air. What's next for Brooklyn and Nicola? For now, the couple seems determined to keep writing their own script. Brooklyn continues sharing glimpses of their home life, cooking, creating, and doting on Nicola. She, in turn, continues to post quietly powerful tributes to their bond, never loud, but always intentional. They're carving out a space that feels insulated, even as the media speculates and family dynamics remain under scrutiny. But the tension with the Beckhams? That part of the story remains unresolved. Will time heal the quiet divide? Will we see a public reunion, a holiday photo, or a simple gesture that signals things are okay again? Or will the silence stretch on unbroken as both sides move forward on parallel paths? For fans, the curiosity won't fade anytime soon. This isn't just about a celebrity couple. It's about two families with wealth, fame, legacy, and power. And when emotions mix with public perception, the lines between love and loyalty get blurry fast. Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure, Brooklyn and Nicola are no longer just newlyweds riding a wave of fairy tale romance. They're a unit, facing public pressure, private struggles, and navigating love under a microscope. And if their vow renewal was any sign, they're not backing down. In the end, this wasn't just a second wedding. It was a message, a statement, a line drawn quietly in the sand. For Brooklyn and Nicola, renewing their vows wasn't about grand gestures or social media buzz. It was about reminding themselves, and maybe everyone else, where their loyalties now lie. Behind the roses, handwritten notes, and intimate celebrations is a couple pushing forward, together, even as the world speculates about what's happening just outside the frame. The vow renewal wasn't just a romantic moment. It was a reset, a symbol of choosing each other again, despite rumors, headlines, or even strained family ties. And while the Beckhams remain silent, the message from Brooklyn and Nicola is loud and clear. Their relationship comes first, whether that choice brings them closer to healing or further from reconciliation. Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, the story isn't over. And for those watching, it's a reminder that even fairy tales come with tension, and that sometimes love makes its boldest move in silence.